Molested, Stalk the Dead, Abyss Metal. If you think that Molested's extremely unique style developed only as late as 1995 was their first and only album, when the creative peak of death metal had already passed, it very much pays off to look deeper into their discography and give their 2 demos a listen or two. On Stalk the Dead, already all the way back in 1991, these guys played a primal form of the extremely outlandish, off-kilter interpretation of death metal. That was a year before Onward to Golgotha came out, 2 years before Demilic's The Spine was released. Those 2 bands of course had demos in 1991 as well. Not only at a time when what one might call weird death metal was completely in its infancy, but at a time when death metal as a whole was still pretty early in its development. These guys were just out from the get-go. The majority of death metal at the time sounded like a logical continuation of the death thrash that preceded it, like a bunch of guys wanting to play Slayer and Possessed more brutally and more extremely. Molested, on the other hand, I sometimes have my semi-serious doubts they had ever heard Slayer or Possessed. Very semi, of course. They've heard the bands. Simply by virtue of how far removed they are from classic extreme metal riffing. Unlike that Mekong Delta album, these guys literally sound like the music of Eric Sand sometimes. Chords, harmonies, melodies, they are extremely unorthodox compared to what was common at the time, and a clear precursor to the dissonance that has been trending in extreme metal since the turn of the century. But here not so much the dissonance for dissonance's sake, but for the sake of the creation of sounds that conjure that image of black abysses and all-consuming maelstroms without losing metal's inherent power of the riff. Something that still subconsciously forces your body to follow the rhythm. Imagine something that is as ugly and dissonant as Portal, while maintaining the riff strength of Morbid Angel. You got the beginning of something truly exciting on this demo. When recalling the comparisons to Incantation and Demolic earlier, it is not only the guitar work that is deserving of such thoughts, but also the vocal performance that recalls the ridiculously low growl of early Incantation's Craig Pillard and Will Rama combined with the pleasant unpleasantness of Demolic's bizarre vocals. Somehow it fits the atmosphere of doom created by the swirling chaos of the instruments that Brun commands the turmoil with such a performance. Like the malevolent but calm and controlled auras of a Grishnak, the Tolkien character, not the social media celebrity, in the pandemonial carnage of the dark battlefield. That the guy would cycle through some of the worst vocalists in metal later in his career when capable of such intensity is a depressing irony. All in all, especially when you consider it was released all the way back in 1991, it is amazing to behold what Molested started here and would perfect on that first album. One of the most sadly overlooked bands in the death metal underground, and really one deserving of the same reverence as the peers I compared them to.